Critics dismiss the person presenting it with a label. These labels frequently appear in online forums, comment sections, and media discussions. Rather than examining the evidence or reasoning, critics often rely on dismissive terms such as pseudoscience, quack, quackery, fringe, debunked, crank, charlatan, internet guru, armchair scientist, fake expert, amateur researcher, self-proclaimed expert, internet crank, propagandist, fraud grifter, hoax promoter, disinformation spreader, misinformation source, pseudo-intellectual, cult figure, attention seeker, clickbait personality, internet personality, fake, dog whistle, coded messaging, bad faith actor, agenda-driven commentator, extremist sympathizer, theorist, hypothesizer, or speculative thinker. The rhetorical function of these labels is straightforward. They attempt to discredit the speaker rather than engage the argument. This tactic is known as an ad hominem attack, and recognizing it can actually place the responder in a stronger position within the debate. How ad hominem attacks work? An ad hominem attack shifts the focus away from a claim and onto the person making it. Instead of addressing the argument's logic or evidence, the critic suggests that the claim should be rejected because of who is presenting it. But the truth of an argument does not depend on the personal qualities of the speaker. A flawed individual can make a correct claim just as a respected expert can make a mistake. Logic evaluates arguments based on their premises, evidence, and reasoning, not the reputation of the person delivering them. When someone substitutes a label like quack, propagandist, or pseudo-intellectual for an actual rebuttal, they are no longer engaging with the argument itself. Calling out the fallacy. A powerful response is to calmly identify the tactic. That is an ad hominem attack. You are labeling the speaker rather than addressing the argument. This response reframes the conversation. Instead of defending oneself against a list of insults, the focus shifts to the structure of the debate. Observers can clearly see that the critic has not addressed the argument's content, but this response contains an interesting rhetorical twist. The King of the Hill paradox. When you call someone an ad hominem attacker, you are technically making a statement about their behavior rather than immediately addressing their claim. In a narrow sense, you are describing something about the person rather than the argument. This creates a fascinating paradox. If debate were like a game of King of the Hill, identifying the ad hominem attack often allows you to take the high ground. The critic attempted to delegitimize you with a label. By naming the tactic itself, you expose the weakness of their move and shift the discussion to a higher level, the quality of reasoning. In effect, their attempt to discredit you becomes evidence that they are not engaging with the argument properly. Why this strategy works? This approach works because debates are rarely judged only by the participants. They are often judged by observers. When someone relies on dismissive labels rather than addressing evidence, it signals that they may not have a substantive rebuttal. By calmly identifying the ad hominem tactic, you demonstrate intellectual composure and redirect the conversation back to logic. The implicit message is simple. If someone has a genuine critique, they should present it in terms of evidence and reasoning. Returning to the argument, the strongest version of this strategy does not stop with identifying the fallacy. After calling out the ad hominem attack, the next step is to return to the substance of the argument itself. Restate the claim, clarify the evidence, invite the critic to address the reasoning directly. This combination, exposing the fallacy and then returning to the argument, demonstrates confidence in your position while reinforcing the standards of rational discussion. The value of naming the tactic. Modern discussions, especially online, are filled with rhetorical shortcuts. Labels often replace arguments because they are faster, easier, and emotionally satisfying. When participants recognize and name these tactics, the quality of discourse improves. Calling out ad hominem attacks reminds everyone involved that debates should focus on ideas rather than personal labels. And in the unusual dynamics of debate, simply identifying the tactic can shift the entire terrain of the conversation, turning an attempted dismissal into an opportunity to reassert the importance of logic, evidence, and genuine engagement with ideas.
Please add all of the suffixes and prefixes that are used, like anti or quasi or ist at the end, ists, or all the ones that are used. And you can say just a few examples. And this list is not limited to, but just is a group of examples. Add terms like denier and anything else like that that's used as well. Anti-science. Remove the word climate and just have denier, and remove the word
was found dead 5 days later. Sarah says he was left alone on the call. I have no known attempt to leave him in a safe and secure location. Now, the state medical examiner's office has shown Tom's death was precipitated by hypothermia and dehydration, and it's ruled it a homicide. The Supreme Court appears skeptical of President Trump's order ending automatic birthright citizenship. That's according to White House correspondent and lawyer John Depp, appointed to win Solicitor General D. John Sauer, argued, quote, "We're in a new world now, where 8 million people would claim right away for having a child who's a U.S. citizen."
Chief Justice John Roberts pointed out, yes, the world has changed.
Since I was in this court on Wednesday for oral arguments, his equity justices against Trump when they announced their decision later this summer. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
KFI. 75%
Say that words or acronyms or nicknames are even invented rather than have serious arguments. And put that in the list of all the stuff, please.
Projects like removing dams on the Klamath River to help restore sandstone coasts. Notice says it's imperative that we protect the ocean and its beaches, as the coastline is not just an environmental issue. The coastal economy brings in $444 million a year to the state's economy.
Citizens Energy is going to 61 vehicles. San Diego nonprofits. This is a partnership with funding provided by SDG. That's the latest. Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live feed. Donations raise. If your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow, call us now or go to carsforkids.com. Did you know you can donate real estate too? Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating this long? You made the experience fun. The fear of messing up. The answer, using TurboTax on into a credit card. Help you keep your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with. The personalized plan is helping you make your money go into. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
How would you like to finally lose all those unwanted pounds quickly without spending thousands on pain, injections, or prescriptions? Hi, it's Donna, health and wellness expert. You probably know someone that's using Ozempic, the hottest diet craze in the country. Everyone knows about this prescription injection. Celebs use it to look their best. The problem is most of us can't afford Ozempic, and these injections can be so uncomfortable. Now you can lose the weight just as easily. No needles, no expensive prices, no side effects, and no worries. You need to try Ozempic, a new miracle weight loss breakthrough that performs so well it's being called nature's Ozempic. Ozempic is an easy-to-take diet pill now available without a prescription, being used by thousands to get rid of those unwanted pounds. So call now and find out how to get a free bottle.
Find out how to get your free bottle of Ozempic. Call 800-631-7101. 800-631-7101. Free bottles are limited, so call 800-631-7101. That's 800-631-7101. Local Exchange is proud to introduce a free closing, a jumbo 30-year fixed loan up to $40 million with no closing costs. You can save around $40,000 in fees with points and appraisals that many lenders charge on a $2 million loan. Today's 30-year free closer rate is 5.875% rate of APR. That makes refinancing simple. The only question is whether it lowers your payment without increasing your balance. And if rates drop again, you can do it again and save even more. Today's 30-year free closer rate is 5.875% rate of APR. If your mortgage rate is over 6%, it's a total no-brainer. Find a close loan with an exchange every week at multistream.com. NMLS 1637539. Loan subject to credit approval. See website for licensing information, loan terms and conditions. Equal housing lender. That's theloanexchange.com. Theloanexchange.com to exchange higher payments for lower ones. You don't use the radio in your car more than anything else. When buying a new car, make sure the AM/FM is simple. Clear and convenient. 0% APR, no payments for 90 minutes. Trophy Kia of Carson. KiaofCarson.com.
Love your legs again. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MICHAEL. Those are called amoebas. You can only see them through a microscope. Wow. Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. So right now, there's a funding crisis in focus. DonorShoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. You can provide pencil paper, compliments of class standing guitar, or even science project for basketball. Learn more at DonorShoes.org.
KFI AM 640, your stimulating talk. To talk to George Gordon, call the wildcard line at 818-501-109. The first time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk toll free from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll free, call 800-618-8255. Send George a text message anytime at 818-298-6541. That's
The answer to this one and the answer.
don't get the full benefits they deserve. But recipients can use Social Security benefits for as much as $188,000 over a lifetime. Social Security expert Michael Allen says it's true. He reveals 5 key strategies to increase your benefits. It's always free special rewards. These next calls report your best guide for figuring Social Security benefits. Whether you're getting benefits from a single will, you need a Social Security report. Get it free. Call 800-999-9690. 800-999-9690. We'll text it to you right away. Along with President Trump's act cutting your Social Security taxes. Cost now 800-999-9690. 800-999-9690. We'll text the name of your
Lifetime labor is tiring and repetitive physical work. I got to a point where severe pain increased in my leg or state of strength when I got out of the vehicle. And I felt my joint right up really bad. And I tried to make anything for work. Later, Dr. Wallace, I'm going to stay with George everything he says makes sense. Once I eliminated the bed, really giving my body a break. Right away, I started sleeping through the night. I got to all the time, and I've been driving again in 3 months. I went from 30 pounds to 170 pounds. My life completely changed, and I'm so grateful. Dr. Rothschild. My name is Mel Jenner. Using MicroHealth.com, founded for the newsletters to receive high-quality references and other invaluable personal advice. Call me 855-949-RADIO. You can experience the results. That's 855-949-7234.
It's not one that exists within humans. Judaism does not have that, which is why most of us have done around there is right? That Moshe Rabbeinu did in his entire life.
Good. Where are you calling us from?
I'm in Dayton, Ohio.
Whoa, Dayton, Ohio. I love it. That's right, the fifth best city in Ohio. You born and raised there, I take it?
No, I'm from Virginia.
Oh, wow, the rare Dayton upgrade. Hard to do. So wow, you were like one of the wonderful whites of Virginia or whatever?
The term debunk is bunk.
I like that. Your
Or
family
name the
like
title of
made
an article,
moonshine
something
and
like
things
that.
like that?
How nothing is debunked. That just give some examples. They don't have to be just like this, but like people who would said in the Roman Empire that aquifers were causing lead poisoning would be seen as pseudoscientists or whatever, and the powers that be of Rome would have said that those people would have been debunked. Or the idea of the, you don't have to say exactly who, but like religious organizations in the Middle Ages saying that we have a geocentric world as opposed to heliocentric, would have tried to debunk everybody or called anyone who questioned otherwise, including Galileo, debunked. And they would have said there's a long tradition of this, just like the Romans would have said there's a long tradition of this. And give another 5 examples of ideas in history that were once thought to be like basically law or realistic that have been changed. Even there's a modern law or something in physics from like the early 19th century that was thought to be a law that eventually had to be shown that was not. So say that the term debunk is actually bunk, that we should never say anything is debunked, ever. That goes against science. To say anything is debunked ever goes against science, because there always could be more information that could be learned.
I love it. So, Joshua, tell us more. What do you do now?
So now I work as a software engineer.
Oh, okay. Any kind of contracting? Okay. That's fun. Is this an office? Do you have your own office there in Dayton?
No, this is the basement of my parents' house.
Oh, okay. So your wife is staying with you at your parents' place?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just the 4 of you, or is there more in the house?
My parents, and we got 3 kids.
Oh, you and your wife have 3 kids?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Asian American children.
Yep.
Those have to be cute as kids. Yeah, do they have cute Asian names, or the names like Charles and Bob?
So it's Paul, James, and Silas.
What was the last one?
Super white name.
It seems like there are a lot of Pauls that are Asian. Do you find this to be?
Hell yeah.
I know a lot of Asian Pauls.
Paul?
Pauls.
P-A-U-L?
Yes.
Yeah?
I know a lot.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, interesting. What was the third name you said? Cyrus?
Silas.
Silas?
S-Y-L-A-S.
Oh,
Cyrus?
that. What was that? Was that your wife's idea?
No, why?
No, it would have been Cyrus. What made you come up with Silas as name?
I actually thought the name is a character in League of Legends.
Stylist.
Wow.
Stylist.
Yeah, stylist. Are you a big gamer? No, nothing. I'm trying to. Salvador is creating a segment over here.
Ireland.
He's still guessing names in the middle of a show that we moved on. 2 minutes ago.
Papyrus?
Papyrus, yes, that's the name. Final answer, Papyrus. You got it right, Salvador. Salvador! Give attention to Salvador. Okay. Joshua, so what do you do for fun? How do you pass the time? I mean, you have 3 kids. When they're not keeping you busy, what else other than League of Legends? Tell us something fun about it.
And I try to make games. I do programming.
Oh my goodness, you make games. What kind of games? What kind of games have you made?
Just trash games.
Article is humble enough to understand the paradox that even this theory that nothing can be debunked truthfully
Is it crazy having
could
real
be
Japanese in-laws? Did you ever
debunked
visited their place and it was like the set of
someday.
Parasite or something like that?
It is a paradox.
I never saw the movie, but not that crazy.
The famous Japanese film Parasite.
There's actually fans watching this episode right now, streaming inside of virtual reality right now. There's a whole movie theater, like an IMAX movie theater. People are sitting virtually watching this spot streaming right now.
Podiatrist?
Yes, it's Podiatrist. Is the 3rd child's name. Podiatrist. It's a character from League of Legends, and also the baby was born a foot doctor. So Joshua.
Both sides?
Oh God. All right. God damn it, what was I gonna say? Other than programming things and making games and things like that, how do you play with your kids? Any fun games that you have to play with Japanese kids? Like, you ever play in the bathtub and play a little game of Pearl Harbor? Where they splash the water in your face because you're the American?
You ever play a game called Shower Dog?
Everyone knows about Shower Dog. You have any parenting tips for us? I love that. How old are your kids?
The oldest just turned 4. The second one is 3, and the younger one will be 1 in December.
You get angry? Have you ever let a racial slur slip out on accident when you're younger than them?
Yeah. You ever say, "Oh, Cyrus jabbed his pants"? I mean, crapped his pants.
God, you must have your hands full. Thank God for the parents helping you out there, though.
Yeah, it's nice. No, they're pretty easy.
And some crazy kids you have. Cute little dumplings they have. I mean, dimples. These Jap kids. Anyway. That's fun. Japanese kids, sleeping Asian wife. How long has she been sleeping for?
Are you sure she's sleeping?
Are you sure she's sleeping, or did she just look like...
for about an hour or 2.
I'm glad I did that also knows.
Say at the bottom
It's the Wicked
that
Witch of the West, everybody. Look at the hat and the nose.
there's a paradox here
Look at this. It's
that
like if Joe
even
Exotic was a
the
pilgrim.
writings of this author
Yeah, down you a pilgriming. All right. Well,
are not
I love it, Joshua. I love it. Dayton, Ohio.
law
You got 3
or
kids. So your
whatever,
parents help a lot with them?
because anything could
That's
be.
awesome, man. That's awesome. You ever catch
Eventually
your parents
revised.
having sex? They think they're
That
still
is
banging?
the beauty of science,
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
or something like that.
Let's ask them. Are any of them awake right now?
I can catch him right now.
There's 1 here.
Ah, damn it.
His hands in the corner, his father is just masturbating fingers.
Catch us.
Nice. That's crazy.
I love it. All right, Joshua. Well, thank you so much for calling in and chatting with us. You're the final comedian of the night here on Kill Tony. Hey, have you done stand-up before? Hold on, wait. No? There's, what is that, Go Bananas?
No, there's a improv.
What's in Dayton?
Funny Bone. Dayton Funny Bone.
Ah, that's
I did
right.
that with Bert Kreischer back then.
Yeah.
Did the tornado tear through any of like your house or anything? There was some bad tornadoes through Dayton.
Yeah, it's like right by us.
They tore down a strip club we went to. Living room.
So you went to? Or was that the only night that I went?
Yeah, that was the one thing we could.
Oh my gosh, it's disgusting. Absolutely vomitile. Is that with Haddish?
Absolutely.
No.
Here's the
Yeah,
first
but-
version of
Oh,
Pokemon
God.
incorporating your edits,
Oh,
moving
God.
vaccination and
Blood
emphasizing the paradox and
Oh,
humility
it's the
of
smell.
Debunk is
The
fun.
next day, we're like getting into the car. I'm like, tell me, smell my lips still
Online
smell.
debates and even media
Yeah,
movements
I almost threw up.
The claim is dismissed. The
Okay,
theory is
so weird thing
rejected.
is it's not like that. It's not like that.
I think yeast infection.
The stripper was going around. I smell my
A
pussy.
closer look at the history of human knowledge
Smells like that guy. It smells like that guy.
has been debunked and
All right, there goes Joshua Bergman, everybody. Joshua Bergman and Joshua B3RG. Before we go,
is to claim finality in a domain
we
where
get to
finality
check in
is
with the
rare.
girl. About now.
Just a moment.
Good drawing here on
Consider the Roman
Kiltony.
Empire.
Yeah, I wish
Some
it
observers suspected the legendary
What's going on, big dog? Okay. How'd you find out about me? No. Get out of here, you garbage. Dog, you gotta change your name. I'm gonna change your name in here.
public health and society. During the Middle Ages,
Okay.
religious
Well, but
authorities
I already know
enforced
Jacob.
geocentric view of the cosmos as unassailable truth.
What if we call
Anyone
you
challenging this framework, including Galileo, was condemned and publicly disparaged. His heliocentric claims were dismissed, suppressed, and effectively debunked.
I mean, we can have other Jacobs in here. Just a moment. You've got a Cuban cigar?
One, spontaneous generation.
How about Jake the Snake?
This law was overturned. Newton's laws, once considered universal,
Are you whore maker?
relativity. 3, caloric was treated as later replaced by kinetic theory. 4, bloodletting, medical standard for centuries, later found ineffective or harmful. Continental drift, Alfred Wegener's early theory ridiculed later.
Hey, dog, so long as you don't do the things that are really bad, I don't care.
7,
How?
by classical physicists, now foundational. 10, plate tectonics in the Himalayas, early theories about mountain. Even into modern times, ideas once dismissed are now standard.
Cool.
Microbiome research overturning simplistic notions of gut health. Epigenetics challenging fixed.
There you go, Jake the Snake.
CRISPR gene editing.
It's a tight name, dude. You know Jake the Snake Roberts was?
Now central.
He was
Words, nicknames, acronyms, and labels. Propagandists.
What did you say?
Pseudoscientist, denialist, dog whistle.
Oh, okay.
Rather than engage with ideas. They function as ad hominem attacks, shutting down inquiry instead of advancing knowledge. Even the use of debunked itself can serve this purpose, granting a false sense of finality where none exists. Science thrives on questioning, refinement, and evidence. Every debunked idea carries the risk of premature closure. True inquiry demands humility, acknowledging what we know becomes uncertain. Nothing should ever be considered fully debunked. Carries a paradox. The author humbly acknowledges that someday even these writings could themselves be revised or challenged. This is not a flaw, but the beauty of science. Knowledge is never complete. Claims remain open to refinement as understanding grows. In essence, debunk is bunk. Rather than asserting the end of inquiry, we must embrace careful evidence-based exploration, humility and openness. Today's orthodoxy may be tomorrow's error, and every claim, including this one, is subject to re-examination. Science is never finished, and certainty is always provisional. If you want, I can also condense this into a visually compelling 600 to 700 word version for media, perfect for social sharing and online reading, without losing the paradoxical humility and historical examples. Do you want me to do that?
No, baby.
Why are we bringing this down? If you go to this list of stuff, what is basic for Basin says, Basin says, Hola Basin, Lihinasa. So what is the Basin doesn't just say, Mutter. Basin says, Mutter. It doesn't mean you're permitted to be married. So again, remember, all of these attachments. And the way Basin is following is Mutter. Lasos. You're allowed to, and here's your watch. So I say, so again, this is actually very interesting. Look at Rashi. So basically, large numbers are right across the Rashi on the right. Who based on our Rashi, who based on us, what's the name of the room? Or us, like Rashi, so I say, so again, we also know this. What does it mean? Who based in love? It's a Mishnah. So you know this was not the Mishnah. Based on the love is what? Based on the they said you can go and do it as he. So all of this backs when Kimi's version, all Rabbi's because of Rabbi's version, the Basin gives him sack, there's two parts of the sack. There's mutter, and you're allowed to have or act in a certain way that makes sense. Then, Basin was basically was always acting upon that. Halacha myself. Their shield is ultimately from any Muslim life, which the Gemara says, slowly. There's nothing more to talk about. Right? That's it. Right? Done. This is version, obviously version of this discussion. So Shmuel, in case of the Shmuel, Shmuel is supposed to now again. The positions of Shmuel are so Shmuel says that the formulation of the base thing is all base used to say is return on the lessons. This is Shmuel. A reverse attribution. This version, Shmuel is the one who says that the Lashon of the Sabbath last. Shmuel has the one who has the Shabbat. Looking at our dog, I'm like, in the name just says, it's butter, that's the one session. That's the energy. So, based on that, they will show you what's the life. So, what's this? This version, this version. These series of questions are looking in the previous version. Abaye was supporting to me. In this version, is in the all of the same. Abaye, the other time. Right, the puzzle you know, the shut up, the so you're not going to say that again. There's one piece here. The guy says something like that. So the always going to be carried forward. And if he just teaches if he tells the people this dilemma, that's basically how we see from here. But it's not just enough to say the third. Also, you've got glasses. Next, the I'll look to them. The Yavis is myself, and go back to the Yavis and really total amazing lesson. But also the people of the Yavis Karma. So some things basically just going to marry their son to remind you what they say. The third action is the basis of sacrifice. The third analysis next. I'm looking at the other side. I'm going to see what's happening. All the things that are happening because I know the photo. I know the Mishnah. Like the purpose of the Mishnah is basically saying there's something to the third. And they're telling you ultimately again that Allah was acting was source. Source.
President Trump says the increase in gas prices is irrational. Another press release today says recent increases in entirely resolved Iranian regime launching green terror attacks against commercial oil tankers. He went on to say the gas prices will rapidly come down. Most oil prices will settle to the backdrop of the open natural gas. NASA's Artemis is now in high Earth orbit. Executed an engine burner just over 18 minutes to reach it. High Earth orbit airline spacecraft now 46,000 miles beyond Earth. Lawyers representing Charlie Kirk's accused Hillary requested more time to process the bullet that ended his life. The lawyer said a recent filing that the Bureau found that the firearms and explosives were not identified in the life during the autopsy. It has the FBI accepting an analysis that has been finished by Tammy Trujillo. It turns out that it was an accident. The right choice. It was bothered by why don't you just say, individual people Moving has two pieces of paper from the one is Caleb and one is Sugar. The fear of his sugar fixed. TurboTax gets into the credit card and so literally so moving you deserve it. Your money back. But we don't take any of your fears messing up your base. And we're able to because different confidence. So let's make the race. This we're running for office. We need future messenger. That's what which communities was essentially on air is 48 hours. Go to winwithIR.com. That's winwithIR.com. Aliens, but they're if we should it's a key aliens for not jumping over 30 years because it's probably exactly and or because it just gets mixed up. That's not it. In this case, human consumption has been welcomed to fuel with exactly and there's PM. PM is the key that we talked about. These that said that he lived his personal life. Moving goes on his it's also personal life. But the case of Shogi is actually the case of the case of Shogi is again, he gets mixed up with his animals. He needs the field. He didn't need to. He's still going to be part of the field. There's such a sacrifice. Absolutely incredible. So you can have the others and somebody says, cover up another says, Shogi, PM, the best. So you got PM. And so you actually got the issue of the it's also the personal identity. That's why I want to say, this kind of shit
Just as well.
Giant makes all their stuff right here in the USA, so they can
Ultimately, again, is
careful supply chain. That matters.
show videos.
See why American giants are not making great money and create jobs for people in factory towns all over the country. No pressure, but if you get down about the business of making things in America, you gotta support the companies who are doing it right. Go to AmericanDaddy.com/100% shops American.
Listen, I want to talk to you about something really important. Did you know that you can avoid investing in companies that don't share your values? That's why I want to tell you about Restream. Here's what I love about Restream. They get it. You work hard for your money, and they should work hard for your values. You care about Restream is not just about numbers on a spreadsheet. They're about helping you make investments based on your values. If you're serious about aligning your money with your values, I want you to visit investinmyvalues.com for a free consultation. That's investinmyvalues.com. That's investinmyvalues.com. We just registered to South Carolina registration is not applied to certain levels of training. Consider your services social care for any providers. Investinmyvalues.com to understand all material risks, conflict of interest, and all investing involves risk and personal loss. Paid endorsement by not a client.
There was some election. So why should you have a so there's also the metric for that is people are being just any benefit of is not within the other. In this case again, there's a right. It's really doing that. So what? So what? It's just maybe salvage of the also Therefore, this is called the case where for $100 that's why these pictures does is kind of help us in these things. This is now another topic. So it's like we're going to get into something. Guys, I'm just going to say that is the guys going to pick these scales. What this really all as a way, look at seeing it. He's got two pieces of fruit, sugar, everyone needs to make this one.
Civilizations of other sources. I mean, basically, again, we are interplanetary, interdimensional beings. Our beings of light, our stardust, something to celebrate, something to have fun with. And obviously, let's say we're trying to learn about space.
I couldn't believe he was born in 1877. God.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. It's the research began in 1910. Version shows he's on the front cover of the New York Times saying, you know, it's documentation, not there. But yeah, during the century, I always wondered, you know, there was a lot of people, it seems like the forest ones at this time. I mean, we ran into people started AA, so, you know, apparently the gateways to the number of people that, again, as I mentioned earlier, such as Edison and possibly Tesla, but he brought me to a lot of people. There are stories about him. You see it hotel, Arthur Conan Doyle, the spiritual Sherlock Holmes, and he apparently became Edgar Casey. So there are a lot of very interesting people that are several Mr. Casey's like these are sure.
I'd like to hope that Christopher keep in touch with us, all right?
So we will be so much. It's very happy on our campus right here. It's a training agency.
Christopher not with us. His book is America's Next Great Awakening. Up next, talk about human awakening. You, Coast to Coast.
The Coast website is now streamlined for mobile devices. Great news if you're a Coast insider or simply want to enjoy our website on your phone. Visit coasttocoastam.com on your iPhone or Android browser. Time for that outdated bathroom shower would trade the cost and hassle of a remodel. The jacuzzi bath remodel comes to the rescue. Perfect bathroom remodel for the price point. Maybe stepping over that high bathtub feels unsafe. Beautiful bathroom whole family can enjoy. Whether it's a safe or easy entry shower complete with grab bars and custom settings to a beautiful spa-like family bath that's functional and stylish. The jacuzzi bathroom remodel, you can enjoy your personalized bathroom shower installed in as little as 1 day. Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Schedule your free design consultation. Quote now. Call 800-384-4122. That's 800-384-4122. 800-384-4122. Purchase installation plans and third-party lenders subject to credit. No interest, no payments, full 12 months. Interest charge for purchase date not being full, not being qualified. All the other details. Call your accountant. 800-225-8100. One stop for advertising. Call 844-844-IHEART. Portions of the following program will be recorded. During the break, you have to tell me the difference between placentia, placentia, and placenta. You have to help me with that one. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the Anchor Radio app. During the break, you have to tell me the difference between placentia, placentia, and placenta. You have to help me with that one. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the Anchor Radio app. KFI AM 640. Los Angeles, Orange County,
President Trump says Operation Security has been very successful.
These past 4 weeks, our armed forces
accomplish all its military objectives shortly. He said that once the conflict ends, the Strait of Hormuz will open naturally. The Artemis II crew, who is offering its first update for orbit, describing the early moments of their mission to the moon. Mission Commander Reed Wiseman called this amazing ride uphill and said they've seen 2 moon rises so far. The astronauts spoke during a video call on Wednesday night, about 3 hours after launch. Mars came ahead of a key test known as Proximity Operations Demonstration. That's when the Orion capsule separates from the upper stage and pilot Victor Glover puts a series of maneuvers that mimic docking on future Artemis missions. And their command used by Customs and Border Protection is a homicide. According to police, Mohammed Shah Alam was released by immigration agents in Buffalo, New York on February 19th. He was found dead 5 days later. The mayor of Buffalo says he was left alone on the home of Richard Knight with no known intention to leave him in a safe and secure location. Now, the state medical examiner's office says Shah Alam's death was precipitated by hypothermia and dehydration and is ruled a homicide. The Supreme Court appears skeptical about President Trump's order ending automatic birthright citizenship. That's according to White House correspondent and lawyer John Denver, who pointed to when Solicitor General D. John Sauer argued, quote, we're in a new world now, where 8 million people would claim right away from having a child who's a U.S. citizen.
Chief Justice John Roberts pointed out, yes, the world has changed.
Members inside the Supreme Court on Wednesday for arguments. He said he wouldn't be surprised if the justices ruled against Trump when they announce their decision later this summer. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
75% of California's sandy beaches could disappear. Here's future.
A report from the California Ocean Protection Council found that beaches are shrinking due to strong storms, rising sea levels, and warmer water. We're seeing ocean waters all across California increasing by 2 degrees Fahrenheit per century. Stacey Wilson Council says California is trying to protect beaches and its species with projects like removing dams on the Klamath River to help restore sand on the coast. Lewis says it's imperative to protect the ocean and its beaches, as the coastline is not just an environmental issue. The coastal economy brings in $444 million a year to the state's economy.
Citizens Energy is donating 6 electric vehicles. The San Diego nonprofit announces a partnership with funding provided by SDG. That's the latest. I'm Rabbi. Restream is now on
Taylor Swift's first show appearance this year. The iconic word. Lonnie, Lady Wilson, all hosted by Ludacris.
It's Prime Sports Time. iHeartRadio has you locked in. Start your day with Fox Sports Radio's Dan Patrick breaking down the final college teams on the road to Indiana. Then find your favorite baseball team in the diamond. Or dive into mock draft season with NFL team. Just going number 1. Number 2. Cutting to the Nets. Draft movie, we've got you covered. The iHeartRadio app. Search sports and listen now.
The free iHeartRadio app is number 1 for music, radio, and podcasts all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of hundreds of thousands of titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
He wanted help with his first ever story, but a mystery and murder. So he said, no one had ever seen it. It began a few years earlier when news of a strange letter spread with press. As opposed to it's still, it's wrong with the country was doing something terrible. By the time it's done now, teachers off their jobs, pilots off their jobs, like a school event. If there was project to just go through this shit, why? Starting to see officials do more than what they were doing. And then homicide is doing something that people did not say. Can you give us another sector of the situation? From serial productions at the New York Times, I'm Brian. It's the Trojan Horse effect, a mystery in the parts that a lot of you don't know.
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one app.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk.
Please remove the absolutely and the part at the end. I just want to be able to copy and paste this into Medium and remove the pound signs. I don't need that. I don't ever need those pound signs.
This is Coast to Coast PM with George Norrie. Say wow.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sean Porter joins us to talk about our latest work in anatomy of awakening. 5 approach to activate self-healing, unlock your higher consciousness, live your divine destiny next on Coast to Coast Days.
Let me ask you something. Why would you feed your hard-earned money to organizations that hate you? You work your whole life building wealth for your family, your future, and you hand it over to advisors who work down on everything you believe in. Your financial advisor should be your partner, not your enemy. The people and organizations you invest in should respect what you believe in, not mock it behind closed doors. That's why I want you to know about working with wealth management. Your wealth is built around your values. Visit investmyvalues.com for a free consultation for Point Wealth Management. Because your financial advisor should be your partner, not your enemy. Find out more about us and our approach at investmyvalues.com. It's investmyvalues.com. Point is a registered investment advisor. Registration is not in place or public CR training. Before considering their services, you should carefully review WorthPoint's exposures at WorthPointInvest.com to understand all material risk, conflicts of interest, and fees. All investing involves risks, including risk of loss. This is a paid endorsement. I'm not a client of WorthPoint. I don't have any bruises on my arms at all. I can't put my finger on it, but I know something's happening. I have to tell you, that has to be a concord.
866-836-8735. That's 866-836-8735. Visit carnivore.com. That's CARNIVORE.com. Use coupon code George to get 15% off your order.
And welcome back to Coaching Continuing Order with the definition of order, which is working on the anatomy of awakening, changing the position, bioenergetically, your international vessel, leveraging high frequency, damage, consciousness, strength, more than 3 decades of the collection of these, Dr. Shores developed visionary models and techniques for finding personal. She has trained thousands of students and practitioners worldwide. The body is a system. Dr. Shores, so welcome back, Dr. Matt. Thank you. It's so great to be here. I've been fantastic. Quite busy and so happy to be here with you. We're on about 7 years ago with our new cigar. Yes, indeed. We've had some amazing conversations, and I so look forward to hearing where we get to go today. Yes. How did you get involved in the field we're talking about tonight, fire consciousness? I was born into a family. My father was a pioneer in genetics, so he was always focusing on how thoughts generated a particular vibrational field in the body and how it contributed to our health and well-being, or contributed to our body's ability to heal. So I've never been to the doctor and actually had antibiotics for any sort of ailment. I'm just only working with how the energy flows in the body in order to heal. So I came upon it, honestly, in terms of exposure to this my whole life inside of this world where the body is able to heal itself, where we're here as a state of high consciousness, and our job is to truly be able to tap into that and allow it to flourish in terms of the full enlivenment of all of our human potential. The title of your book is The Anatomy of Awakening. What is the awakening portion? Awakening is someone
Please provide a Medium-like article arguing that national security arguments are potentially unconstitutional because literally anything could be argued to be a national security risk, and the only people who get to look in on it have to have some kind of clearance and go to the original idea that national security became an idea during the World War II with Japanese bombing U.S. submarines. But now national security is just a blanket to be able to cover up any kind of issue that the government or politicians don't want known to the general public. And according to John F. Kennedy, secrecy in an open and honest democracy is repugnant. And we have the saying from, I think, Benjamin Franklin, those who sacrifice security for freedom deserve neither. And that saying things our national security will be our downfall because, or could be a downfall, because this allows for bad actors to be able to hide things from the public, and this type of secrecy and saying something is against national security could be used for anything, even things that aren't national security. Nothing about national security is included in the Constitution. Give those arguments. And if anything, perhaps a constitutional amendment should be passed regarding that things could be considered national security. Because otherwise, everything could be hidden.
Because they're living from this false self-version of who they are, and they are trying to make life work with fewer ingredients than are actually available to them. So they're constantly overly depending upon their mind alone to determine their decisions and to make make life work rather than really learning how to allow something much greater to flow through their lives. Sure, these are codes that are representing higher states of consciousness than what we typically are engaging with, and so we periodically might experience some of them, but the purpose of the book is to get people able to process life through them in an organized, consistent manner. And so there's a version of us that is pure creative energy. And so one of the codes is about getting to know that version of yourself, getting to know what is the creator aspect of me, instead of having the whole idea of
Remove the idea of calling the United States a democracy, because it is not. It's a republic, a constitutional republic.
some divine space. Why not allow myself to be living in that space as a representative of it, as an expression of it, and tap into my own creatorship rather than just trying to be a better reactor or even trying to develop in a responsive sort of way so that we have better responses to what happens in life, but to really be generative in our lives and allow our own genius to be activated in ways. And so it requires that we begin to operate from a place other than our reactive story, either the story of our lives, the beliefs that we generate as a reaction to those experiences. And so one is called the creator code, and it's really developing one's creatorship in their life rather than just living as a reactor to something else. And there's another code that is called the actioning code, which allows us to really move in a divine right alignment with what is deeply true for us instead of operating in this reactive way. And there are three more codes that represent aspects of our gathering of our true self, cultivating that again back from the dispersal that occurs when we land here and really don't have the circuitry in place to operate in these higher ways. So it's sort of an aspect of us that is the natural sustaining and healing component, and a revelation code that is really our inherent design is built to allow us to have realizations about our true nature as a multidimensional, really a cosmic presence here on Earth.
New article. This one is about how calling the United States a democracy is repugnant and plays on the uneducated in politics, that the United States is not a democracy, and that a true democracy perhaps has never been a government of any kind, of one person, one vote. Break it up into the Greek demo, meaning like rule by the people, one person, one vote. Like break down the word and say that No government has ever had that. Even in Greece, slaves didn't have a say, and perhaps women didn't have a say. So even Greece, where the word was developed, didn't have a democracy, and say that there are no true democracies. We shouldn't use this term, but we do because it's easy for politicians and diplomats and such to somewhat trick the populace into thinking that they have a say. If anything, the countries of the world have republics or representative republics of some sort. There are no true democracies. When politicians say we are protecting the democracy, we don't have one, and they sort of sound unintelligent to a keen mind. They are playing at the uneducation and politics of the people. The United States is not a democracy. It has never had a democracy. It really lacks democratic principles. What it lacks in democratic principles, it has in Republican or republic or representative principles. And if politicians, diplomats, leaders were being honest, they would stop saying that we have democratic principles or we need to protect the democracy because that doesn't exist. In fact, the Democratic Party shouldn't even be called the Democratic Party. It should more likely be called, more accurately, something like the Progressive Party because the Democratic Party has no democratic principles. And on the flip side, the Republican Party should more likely be called the something else. Give it a different name because it's not a republic, and those people are not Republicans. A republic is different. A republic is a purely representative form of government, but does not take into account other aspects like the judicial branch or the executive branch. So it's not really a republic either. The Republican Party is not advocating for a republic. They're advocating for generally more conservative ideas. So give that a better name. Like Democrat could be known as progressive, Republican could be known as regressive or something like that.
way to this deepest cellular level of the DNA. So we're recognizing that our environment, our conscious environment, determines our genetic expression more so than just that we inherited something. And so people that are living more in their bodies and in a physical manner are more naturally able to utilize what science is now describing as the movement and the guidance of our life experience from a level of consciousness or from a level of health and vitality, etc. And people who tend to live just in their heads that are constantly overthinking, overtrying, overdoing are having a longing in life, knowing something's missing but not knowing what it is. And as such, they are truly engaged in and poised perfectly to learn how to activate the rest of who they are, these higher states of consciousness that we're referring to here as these codes. And they can also animate these frequencies within themselves. It's just a matter of learning how to do what some other people just inadvertently were born knowing how to do. So it generates quite a transformative reality for people once they begin to engage in activating some of these statements of their own true self that they weren't really in touch with at all.
So you heard of the name is multistream?
Yes.
Serial killer from the 70s. There was one that died in 89. He apparently killed 30 young women. Today, DNA matched him. The murder years ago in the 70s. You look at higher consciousness and stuff like that. What happened to somebody like that? What would compel somebody to do that?
You know, when we are shut down in certain ways, we develop addictive behaviors and patterns and receptive fields that are distorted. And what happens is we see a reality that looks true and real and called for and appropriated, but it's actually quite distorted from the inherent loving presence that we each actually are. And so in those addictive patterns where this energy, and so we just got back for a moment and realized how the energy flows through the body. Through bioenergetics, we studied that there's a natural flow in the body that the ancient Eastern cultures were very aware of. And we're actually, practicing these practices like acupuncture, where they're using needles to reroute energy flow in a more harmonious way, and some for healing and wholeness, and for higher states of consciousness. This energy routes down from above the body, down through the central core of the body, through the central brain, through the throat, through the heart, through the solar plexus, through the gut, the tip of the spine, and then the earth, and it grounds, and then it rises up from the earth, back up through the body, and up through that same pathway, up through this deep central channel called the Shishuna, and it shoots out the top of the head, and it cycles
Please
around
say
the outside of the
that
body, and rises up.
all religious leaders, if they were really truly being honest, would say that all people are agnostic, because no one really knows anything for sure. It is impossible to know anything. And that all religious leaders, no matter who they are, and name the top 13 religions and say that there are others, their religious leaders don't truthfully know if any of the stuff that they're talking about is correct. They don't know anything. They don't know their real names. They don't know that they're even truthfully on this earth, because no one can really know anything. It's very philosophical. It's very Aristotelian. The more I learn, the less I know type of idea. Put the real quote. And if all of the religious leaders of the world were really being honest, they would tell their congregations, no one really knows for sure, but this is the tradition by which we live, or something along those lines. and say from a Jewish perspective, an Orthodox Jewish perspective, everyone from Moshe Rabbeinu to Hillel and Shammai to Rabbi Akiva to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai to Rambam to Ramban to Moshe Cordovero to Isaac Luria to the Chafetz Chaim to the Vilna Gaon to Rabbi Cap
iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. A staggering 8 billion tons of plastic ends up in the world's oceans every year. If current trends continue, our oceans will contain more plastic than fish by 2050. Do your part. Purchase items made from renewable or recycled content and recycle whenever possible. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/earth. Shakira is returning to the United States this summer. The Colombian singer-songwriter kicking off a limited run with 2 shows on June 13th and 14th in Los Angeles. Shakira will make stops in a dozen cities, including Dallas, Miami, Boston, and New York. She'll wrap up the tour July 25th in Atlantic City. Fans can sign up now for ticket pre-sales and start April 7th ahead of the general on sale April 9th. Eddie Murphy going to receive the AFI's Lifetime Achievement Award live on Netflix. The award is in recognition of Murphy's accomplishments as an actor and his box office achievements. This will also be the first year the special will be televised on the streamer. The 51st AFI Lifetime Achievement Award, a tribute to Eddie Murphy, premieres May 31st on Netflix. Spyglass is developing the 8th installment of the Scream franchise. Based on the Scream set and racked up over $200 million at the global box office, the first time a movie hit the franchise grossed that milestone in its existence. And Billy Joel's 100th performance at Madison Square Garden is set to be released on Blu-ray and DVD.
Singer's MSG residency, which happened on March the 28th, 2024. Live at Madison Square Garden. Concert on May the 29th.
That's entertainment. I'm Jennifer Bolsoni.
Premier Networks presents Coast to Coast AM.
What was his name?
That, of course, was a great time. Well, what we've done is we've redone the website, so if you're looking for that special person. Go to paranormaldays.com and within the website, you can think of it as a clearinghouse. We've got websites for people who might be looking for to get to know better. So, for instance, if you're spiritual, there's a website there for spiritual people. If you're a pet lover, there's one for pet lovers. There's one for sober people, for widow people, for country dating people that are looking for that country date. Whether that may be country music or just mature people. So all kinds of things right there to find that special person for you. So check it out. It's
We all agree that even subjects like the Torah being divine and everything else, if they were truthfully being honest, they would have to agree that no one really knows for sure, but this is the tradition we live by. And make sure that anyone who tells you anything differently, no matter their religious background or philosophical background or scientific background, if they don't say that no one really knows for sure and they say that somebody does know for sure, then you should not believe them because no one really knows anything.
But I tell you, your immune system is starting to function better after 24 hours. Put it down and stick along with it. Most really 30 minutes.
Order now at healthyliving.com. The stem cell bonus new Dr. Lane protects body stem cells and will make you feel better faster. The stem cell bonus new with adaptive stem and immune stem is only available at healthyliving.com or toll free at 800-563-3980. That's 800-563-3980. Don't forget to enter promo code George for free shipping.
Order now to get your free gift. Mental clarity, mental superpower, mental charms, the stem cell wellness kit at healthyliving.com. Mike Rowe here with a few thoughts on my favorite sweatshirt. Classics of upbringing. It used to be navy blue, but has since faded to a fashionistas gold, a distressed indigo. It's 13 years old, soft as a flannel bathrobe, and after a few hundred dirty jobs, demonstrably and undeniably indestructible. This is the kind of sweatshirt girlfriends like to permanently warm. But I felt onto this one.
Also, put the years of the rabbis and put them in chronological order. And if they have a nickname, you can put it, but then in parentheses, put the, or it doesn't have to be in parentheses, but put like in quotation marks their nickname. You don't have to list the rabbis in bullet points. Just put them in a paragraph and don't put the stuff in bold. It's fine that it's unbolded. And put the rabbis in order chronologically. And when you refer to Moshe Rabbeinu, you can put Moses, comma, Moshe Rabbeinu, and then put in parentheses Moses, our teacher, in Hebrew. And the same for the Chafetz Chaim and the Vilna Gaon and everybody knows what we're talking about.